everyone, and welcome to A Stitch in Time. Today is Thursday, January 20th, 2022, and this is episode 206. My name is Carol. My Ravelry name is Knits and Pearls, and I live in the Fraser Valley of British Columbia, Canada, not too far from Vancouver. Hope you've all had a good week. I am really happy to be back here with you once again so soon. And here's crossing fingers that my recording woes are behind me. A little behind the scenes drama from last week's episode. So I had recorded the entire thing for a second time, as you know. And then as I was proceeding to edit, I could not get the largest file from my phone to my computer. And after messing around with it for far too long, I finally decided to just go ahead and re-record that segment of the episode for the third time. Thankfully, in the end, my daughter-in-law came to the rescue and helped me find a way to access that original re-recording, and that's what you ended up seeing last week. And I'm really glad about that because it was by far the best of my 3 attempts. So hopefully everything goes smoothly this week and that I've learned some lessons from last week. I believe part of the issue stems from the size of the files, so I am going to try and break this week's episode into several smaller files, and I think that will work better. So yeah, wish me luck on that. I do know one thing for sure, and that's this week's episode will not be nearly as long as last week's, but then again, I've only been gone for a week rather than a month like last time. So I do have a couple of finished projects to share with you this week. Also 2 works in progress, and then I've been sewing some more project bags, so I'll show those to you too. But before we get into all of that, I just want to talk a little bit about the Year of the Stash Make-Along that is taking place in the Ravelry group. I have some prizes to announce. So as I mentioned last week, Ashley, who is A. Everingham on Ravelry, has generously donated an in-stock project bag from her Instagram shop, which is called Monkey and Mouse. So that prize will be awarded to the winner of the January portion of the chatter thread, the main make-along thread. So thank you once again, Ashley, for your generous donation. I urge you to go to the second post in that main make-along thread and check out her Instagram shop, which is linked there. We have another generous prize donor, and that is Lisa of Fiber Nymph Dye Works. And as you know, if you've been watching for any length of time, and even if you just watched today's episode, you will see how much I like Lisa's yarns. So she has offered up a $30 gift certificate for her shop, which is fibernymphdyworks.com. And that one will be awarded to the January winner of the FO thread in the Personal Sock Yarn Club. So that prize will be drawn after that portion of the make-along closes at the end of February. So thank you so much, Lisa, for your generous donation. And like, as I said, for Ashley's shop, I urge you to go take a look at Lisa's offerings at fibernymphdyworks.com. And I will be donating a project bag for the winner of the January portion of the chatter thread for the Personal Sock Yarn Club. I did say January, right? Yeah, and that too will be drawn when that closes at the end of February. So this is the project bag that I will be giving away. And it has a pocket inside too. Thought that would be appropriate given the socks on it. And supplementing that, I had another person come forward and offer up a couple of prizes as donations. So Allison, who's AJ Borthwick on Ravelry, had a couple of little things that she has offered as prizes. And one of them is this cute little macaron holder. It holds, you know, like stitch markers and things. So I actually had fun this week on Etsy ordering some various stitch markers and progress keepers. And so I thought this would match this bag really well. So this is, the winner will get this bag and this little holder, and also there'll be a few little fun things inside. So as soon as the lighting improves around here, I will get a photo of this and put it into the first post of that thread. Allison also donated these cute little stitch markers, but I'm going to save those for something, you know, closer to Christmas, because they're definitely in those Christmassy colors. So I'm going to put that aside for now and most likely match it up with a wintry or Christmas themed bag closer to the end of the year. So thank you, Allison, for sending those things my way. I just so appreciate all of your generosity, all of you prize donors. All right, another thing I wanted to talk about is a new giveaway. So way back in April of 2021, I had purchased a set of 9-inch circulars. I guess, is it a set when there's only one? Anyway, I purchased a 9-inch circular needle. I wanted to give knitting on 9-inch circulars a try. They were 2mm, and if my memory serves me correctly, I think they were Haya needles, but I'm not 100% sure about that. In any case, I did not enjoy knitting my socks on 9-inch circulars, and so I offered up those needles to whoever was interested. And Treva, who is TP Mom on Ravelry, was the winner, and she gave them a go. But she's contacted me and she's not a fan either. So she said she's happy to pass them on to someone else who would like to try them out. It's kind of like a traveling circular sock needle thing. Eventually they will find their perfect home. So I'm going to, I don't think I'll open up a new thread. I think either leave a comment on YouTube or a comment on this week's episode thread in the A Stitch in Time podcast Ravelry group. Either of those two places, drop me a line, let me know if you're interested in trying out 2mm 9-inch circular needles, and I will draw a name from everyone who expresses interest in that. And then Treva has generously offered to mail them on to another person to give them a try. And maybe we'll see if you're not a fan, maybe you'd be willing to pass them on to another good home, and eventually these needles will find the perfect home. So thanks, Treva, for contacting me about that and then reminding me to talk about it on this week's episode, since I forgot last week. So so yes, that's the end of the news, I guess. So let's get into some knitting. I guess announcements. Maybe that's a better way of putting it. Okay, I have 2 pairs of socks. I think I'll start with my January Personal Sock Yarn Club installment. I won't say entry because I'm not going to enter these obviously into the finished projects thread, but I will share a picture on the chatter thread. So speaking of Fiber Nymph Dye Works, this yarn is from her. This is the Winter Play colorway, and this is the bedazzled base. So this is my usual top-down plain vanilla sock on a 2mm needle. So a 2x2 rib, I did a traditional heel flap and gusset on this pair and my usual rounded toe. And I did a very tiny bit of yarn management here when I picked up stitches for the gusset. But other than that, pretty straightforward pair of socks. I really love the colors in here. What I'm seeing on screen, this looks rather green, but in real life, it's more like a kind of a tealy blue. I think that's actually a little bit more obvious as I bring this closer to the camera. That color looks pretty good. So yeah, really fun colors here. And another pair of socks. Like I really need another pair of socks, but I really like knitting socks and I like always having a pair of plain ones on the needle. And they just go through my rotation, so I wear them. I'm actually gonna put these, because they're a winter theme, I'm not gonna wear these right away. I'm going to put them into my bag of winter and Christmas themed socks. So I will pull these out next December and wear them then. So one down. And then my other pair of finished socks is also with yarn from Fiber Nymph Dye Works, and it's also another winter colorway. So this colorway is called Winter's Shadows. And this was the day 25 skein of the 2021 Winter Magical Holiday Collection or something like that. I never quite remember exactly what it was called. So again, very basic vanilla sock, 2mm needles, 64 stitches, top down. In this case though, I did a yarn over short row heel, and I had some coordinating leftover yarn in my stash, and so I added that for the heel. You can see it's very close to this stripe. So again, because this is another winter colorway, I am going to tuck these away until December also. So yeah, feels good to be only, I guess, 3/4 of the way through, well, not even, 2/3 of the way through January, and I already have, I guess, 3 finished projects so far. My first was a pair of socks that I showed you last week. And with that, I don't have any plain vanilla socks on the needle, so I'm gonna have to remedy that. I'm not sure if I can wait another 11 or 12 days until it's time to open up my February Yarn Club yarn. So we'll see. What I have been working on a fair bit is my Ashland sweater. It's a Brooklyn tweed pattern by Julie Hoover. Let's bring this up a little bit closer here. And then I showed you last week, this is actually a really good look at it there. So it's a colorwork sweater. I'm knitting mine out of Brooklyn Tweed Loft, which is the fingering / sport weight version of Brooklyn Tweed's yarn. And I actually don't have a label. I know it's 100% wool, but I'm not sure if it says what kind. It's a little bit on the rusticy side, tweedy side, but it's actually pretty soft. Like for something that is not, like merino, it actually is quite soft and it's very light. That's one thing I really like about it. So this color is called Button Jar. And then I have paired it up with 3 other colors: Hayloft, Thistle, and Embers. And it's going well. So you can see it's grown quite a bit. It was right here when I showed it to you a week ago. So what I have been doing is kind of working on the plain knitting at night as we've been watching TV. And then I've been working on the color work during the day on a few days so that I would have it free to work on at night. Now, as you can see, however, I don't have any color work done now, so I will not be working on this until tomorrow when both the light will be better and I'll be able to better concentrate, especially because the next color work section is going to be this one and I need to be able to pay attention. It's a little more complicated. I am really excited though, because once I do that and I think another row or two, then it's time to divide for the armholes. So this sweater does have steeking. It's going to have steeks for the armholes, and then when you do the sleeves, you do steeks for the upper, for the sleeve caps on the sleeves. So I know I'm going to have to bind some stitches off, and then I end up having to join in the round again with some steeking stitch, or with some steek stitches. But yeah, it is definitely coming along, and I do really like it. I actually haven't really held it up to myself or anything. What I would like to do is slide it onto another needle and then try it on. Once I get up to where I'm supposed to divide for the sleeves, I'll do that, and I'll have a better sense of how it's going to fit then. But I'm persevering anyway, because after all that work, it's just going to be what it's going to be. Anyway, I am really happy with it so far. I don't want to make it sound like I'm unsure about it or anything. I'm not. I think it'll turn out really well. So then I have pulled out another kind of lingering work in progress. I'm not sure the last time I worked on my Hinterlands shawl by Helen Stewart. This is the final shawl in the Shawl Society 5. So looks like that. And there's another picture here in a different colorway. So as you can see, it's a triangular shawl, has some mosaic color work here and tassels. I'm not sure if I'm going to do the tassels. I'm not sure if I'm a tassels kind of girl, but I am knitting this out of Madeline Tosh Merino Light. It's the only label I brought in here today, but I'll show it to you. And I have 3 colors. So the main color, I've got to be careful because it's connected to my project bag here. The main color is Outlander. Speaking of, anybody excited about the upcoming next season? I have been listening to the latest book, but we've also got it on Kindle now, so I think I'm going to end up going back and forth between reading it and listening to it. And then I have 2 other colors. This one is called Sun Rose, and then the black is called Onyx, and I love how that looks. Isn't that turning out great? At just the right amount of contrast, and the red picks up the red. It's kind of a pinky red. It picks up the same color in here as with the black speckles. I just think this combination is just a winner, and especially for this shawl, I really think it works. So I can't really show it to you very well because, of course, it's bunched up on my needles. But I am in... had some garter stitch here. Now I'm doing a ribbing section with the black, and then after that you switch back to the I switch back to that pinky red color, the Sun Rose, and then there's kind of some reverse ribbing here. Well, it's not reverse ribbing, but it's, instead of being a knit so many purl one like it is here, this is purl so many knit one. So it has a little bit of a different texture. And then as you can see, that's the end of it. So I am, how far? I think when I picked it up, I was about 30 or 35% through, and now I'm at 65% through. So another third-ish to go. And this is going to become my TV knitting when I can't work on my sweater, because it's pretty simple to follow. So I'm kind of resisting casting on another pair of socks, at least till I have this done. But I don't think I'll make it, as I say, till the beginning of February. I just don't think that's gonna work. not for how I live my life. So that is it for all the knitting this week. And as I mentioned, I have been doing some more sewing. I have 2 bags that I have finished. Actually, one of them I just finished today. So this is the first one I finished. It's out of that same fabric I picked up at Granville Island back in December. So I've got, that's the outside, and then the inside lining is that. So this is from the tutorial from Shabby Fabrics. So it's a little bit wider than the, and I think a little bit shorter than the ones that I had done with the charm packs that I showed you last week. But I really like it. I think it's a nice bag, nice size. And then I used up the final fabric from that little Fat Quarters pack that I had picked up. So that's this fabric here. Actually, maybe I should bring this one in a little bit closer so you can see the fabrics. Don't know if this was close enough either. I've got to get used to this. There you go. So yeah, this was the final fabric in that bundle, which I think is really pretty. And I decided to pick out that darker pink. So I picked up some fabric from local fabric shop, and then I just lined it with a plain light gray. So yeah, I think that's really pretty. So tempted to keep all of these, but I won't. I will offer these up in future alongs for prizes. So hopefully you guys like those. And yeah, I have 2 more totes that are in the process of being sewn, and they're also from fabrics that I picked up in Granville Island. And then once I'm done with those, I'm going to turn my attention to a quilt for my sister and brother-in-law's future grandchild, who is supposed to arrive in April. So I'm kind of excited about doing that. I've really been enjoying the sewing and the quilting. It's a nice change from knitting all the time. All right, now the boring part, which is what's been going on around here this week. As you might have guessed, not very much. We did on the weekend finally getting around to taking down all of our Christmas decorations, put our tree away, took down the Christmas lights outside, put all those things away until next December. And it felt really good to get that done. We kind of sat around in the living room, because that's where the bulk of the decorating was, and just it was nice just to get the house kind of back to normal again. Everything was nice and clean and dusted and vacuumed and just so tidy, and just enjoyed kind of feeling like, okay, now we can get on with the new year. The snow is just about gone. We do have the odd patch here and there, but most of it melted away this week with some warmer temperatures and rain. And that weird snow fog continued throughout the week, off and on. But today it's just overcast, and I can see some raindrops now on the window. Actually, just now it's starting to rain. And it's windy today. I wasn't expecting that. But I think we're supposed to have a pretty decent weekend, so I hope so. I have some things I'd like to photograph for my project pages, and I just haven't had a really good lighting to do that with so far. We have not been doing a heck of a lot, partly because of Omicron being out there. We're really not seeing people, and yeah, other than just running errands on the weekend and doing all that de-Christmasing in the house, we haven't done a whole heck of a lot this week. I'm hoping maybe if the weekend is decent weather-wise, maybe we can do some sort of outing, just to get out of the house and see some different scenery. Now, I know it's not as vital. I know on the weekends my husband's quite happy to be home because he's out at work all week, but I'm just getting a little bit, feeling a little bit housebound, and I want to go somewhere. We've been really, I think, okay, I'm not even going to get into it because I think we're all feeling the same way. We're just kind of experiencing some pandemic fatigue and just wanting life to be a little more normal. I think that not so great weather is kind of affecting me too. So I think with some sunshine, it should also brighten my mood. I had somebody ask me last week about how my Christmas gifts were received, and I hadn't even thought to say anything about that last week. So if you were watching throughout the latter part of last year, you know that I did make some Christmas gifts for people. I've also made some birthday gifts, but I think it's just the one that still hasn't been given. That's a scarf for my sister, but we're waiting till things settle down so that we can all get together and celebrate what will probably be both winter and fall birthdays or winter and spring birthdays all at once. So I've got things, I've got all the winter birthday stuff tucked away, the cards and gifts. And so I hope that by the time my sister gets her woven scarf, it won't be too warm to wear it, but that might be the case, the way things are going. And anyway, in any case, that's a lot of rambling on. My handmade gifts were very well received. I had knitted a shawl for my daughter-in-law. She immediately put that on. That was for her birthday. She immediately put it on and wore it for the rest of the night. I had woven a scarf for our daughter, and didn't get to see her in person when she opened it, but we were on video chat, so got to see her reaction. She was very happy with that. And then, as I told you last week, I had made 3 project bags out of the same charm pack with that Through the Woods theme. And I had made one for her specifically with her in mind, but I thought I would let her choose from the 3 which one she liked best. And she chose the one that I made for her. So that was awesome. Just made me feel really good that, it was exactly, one of the things I'd done is done some stitching on it that had little vines and leaves, and she picked up on that right away. And anyway, it was great. So she liked the one I made for her best. So I guess I really do know her after all these years. And then what I didn't mention is I can't remember when it was. I think it was back in October. I had sewn a tartan vest for my brother-in-law at his request to match his kilt. And then I did see, sometime after Remembrance Day, I did see some video footage with him wearing just his vest with his suit at Remembrance Day. But when we arrived at his house, well, this, and for those who don't know, at the time we had kind of worked out that this would be his Christmas present from me, that I would have his name for Christmas, and that would be his gift. I did get him a few other small items for, you know, to open at Christmas, but This was the main part of his present. So when we went over to visit him and his wife at New Year's, when we got there, he opened the door and he was wearing his vest, and he proceeded to wear his vest the whole evening so that I could see that it did indeed fit perfectly. His wife measured, and we did all this over a video chat and worked out all his measurements, and then I took this pattern and adjusted it and just hoped that it was gonna fit, and it does. It fits perfectly and looks really nice. So yes, all of the handmade gifts so far have been a big hit, so happy about that. Yeah, I struggled. This sounds terrible. I struggled to find something good this week. Not that life is so terrible, but it's not so fantastic either. And I just couldn't come up with anything. And so I'm just gonna leave that section blank this week. That's terrible, because I usually do try to find at least one little nugget of something good in the week, even if it's something minor, but I just blanked. How about, let's switch it around. Let's switch it around. And how about you guys drop me a comment and you tell me something good. I would love to hear your something good for the week. Before I go, what I'm wearing. This is Zweig by Caitlin Hunter. I knit this back between January and March of 2020. And this is knit from Midnight Cravings, their Lush fingering base. And the green is called Basil. And this cream color, it has little speckles of this, and I think a couple other little colors in it. That's called Pesto. So I don't know, I'll come a little bit closer. You can see the beautiful, beautiful lace and color work. And then it has this really nice textured stitch pattern on the body and the sleeve. I don't know if I can stand up here. Yeah, there we go. So yeah, really love how this sweater turned out. And again, it's not itchy at all. I definitely have certain wool sweaters that I need to wear something underneath, but then it gets far too warm. So this one is really comfortable, doesn't itch at all. All right, I think that is it for this week. I forgot to break it down into smaller segments, so hopefully I don't have too much trouble getting this onto my computer to edit. I just got rolling and forgot all about it. Anyway, thank you so very much for watching, coming and joining me yet again, and have yourselves a fabulous week. Stay healthy, enjoy your crafting, and I look forward to seeing all the things you're making over on the Ravelry thread in the Year of the Stash make-along. So I should see you again next week. Take care until then. Bye.